Hello, beautiful souls. I'm so excited you are here today. My name is Dr. Toya Hodges, and today I am going to talk to you about creating a personal SWOT analysis. This has been a workshop that I have done for conferences, for various organizations, and it has always been very impactful. And I was just like, why don't I just share this with the world? Because it could impact the world. So, what is a personal SWOT analysis? So, I am going to share the PowerPoint that I typically use when I am performing this for workshops and things of that nature. So, let's get started. A personal SWOT analysis by yours truly, Dr. Toya Hodges. So, what is a SWOT analysis? And most of you probably hear about a SWOT analysis when you're thinking about doing a business plan or for an organization, or if you're an entrepreneur, you use that. But how did we do this personally? And so the SWOT analysis is a very powerful tool that can help you identify what your strengths are, what your weaknesses, your opportunities, and your threats. Now, I'm going to talk about some of the benefits of completing a SWOT analysis. So, when I first created this, I created it when I had an organization and I had over 300 employees. And what I was starting to realize was I was having a difficult time trying to manage all of these employees and not having systems and protocols put in place. And the systems and protocols that I had in place it was not a one size fit all situation. So one of the things that I started doing was I'm like, you know what? Okay. When I hire an employee, and my previous employees, I would make them do this, but when I would hire an employee and they would come on board, part of the orientation was we would do a SWOT analysis, right? And at first they felt a little scared, and I would give them time to do it because obviously you can't just do this right on the spot. It takes time to do it. But one of the benefits and why I did it was it showed that I was invested in the employee success at my organization, right? I wanted them to work as efficient as they possibly could because I was a big believer in work-life harmony. And I knew with the type of work that we did, I owned a mental health clinic. We were on call 24 hours, 7 days a week. And we were constantly dealing in crises all day long. So I wanted to create something that was not a crisis situation because I realized that in a mental health world, burnout is very fast. People burn out very quickly. And I didn't want my staff to burn out because I realized that the therapists and the workers were the biggest assets of my organization. And so I wanted to make sure that they were happy. And the one thing that I am very proud of with the organization is that I had employees that had been with me for over 15 years in the mental health world. And that is just unheard of because most people burn out or they want to start their own practice or they just go they agency hop. And I was able to eliminate a lot of that, and I can contribute that to not only me being such an amazing leader, but also completing the SWOT analysis. So let me tell you how I used it from an employee viewpoint. So if there are any managers and leaders or HR individuals that are watching this, you can understand how I did it from that perspective. But then as an entrepreneur and as an employee or as a manager, how you implement this for yourself, because this is a win-win. I have some clients that are like, hey, I want you to teach my daughter how to do this. She's getting ready to go to college, or, my high school student. Like, how do I give this to, my spouse? Like, I want them to learn from this. So, as an employer, when my employees completed this, what it did was it allowed me to create certain protocols to help them succeed. And the way I did that is because we were able to look at their strengths, see what their weaknesses were, see what opportunities they wanted in life, and what they felt like were threats. Now, when we're doing a personal SWOT analysis, this is on you in addition to you as an employee or an employer or a manager, like what your career aspirations are, right? And so what it did was I was able to see what the majority of the weaknesses were that were in the organization and help create certain things within the infrastructure that could support them. So, for example, a lot of the individuals would always say their health, that was a benefit, like, or a threat. They felt like they were not taking care of themselves. So we implemented things in the organization by like having mindfulness retreats, or implementing meditation, having a mental wellness employee that was constantly working with the organization to make sure people were mentally fit, physically fit, and financially fit. So we had various coaches that would come into the organization to help kind of isolate these threats. The other thing that we did was when we looked at a weakness, say I had an employee that struggled with procrastination. Well, we would put things in place, we, meaning the manager, HR, and the employee would come up with predetermined protocols that would help them when they found themselves procrastinating. So we would like create accountability partners. So we were making sure that they were getting their things done. We ended up setting time limits on when certain things were due. So they weren't spending the whole weekend catching up on all their notes. We implemented the things that would help them remove that as a threat. Now, we would pair their strengths with a weakness to create these predetermined protocols to help them navigate through it. And then if there were certain things that they were just not good at, like I was never good at being a writer. So that was not a task that I would end up having to do. I would give that to the person that was strong in writing. Or if you have an employee that says, I'm good at multitasking, which is so not true. I'm just going to say that. No one is good at multitasking, because when you multitask, that means you've got a bunch of things that are half done and not at 100%. And so when people would say that they were good at multitasking, we're like, no, you're not. So your ADHD mind makes you think you're good at multitasking. You're really not. So let's bring that down to where we conquer certain things. If people, maybe are not very good at project management, well, then I'm not going to force you to do project management. We would give that to someone that was good at being at project management. So that's how it helps you from an employer viewpoint, by implementing this into your human resource and your hiring style. Now, for an individual, it allows you to see yourself in a snapshot, like, okay, these are my weaknesses. These are the things that are preventing me from achieving the goals that I really want to achieve in life. This is what is blocking me from having a life of fulfillment. These things, my weaknesses and my threats, are what's preventing me from being at my optimal level, being happy, being complete, being satisfied, being fulfilled, being able to have my work-life harmony. And these things are also the things that are robbing me of all of the things that I truly, truly want. So when we create this, then as we're navigating, and this is going to be a week-long recording, because I also know that most people don't have a whole lot of time, and I want to give it to you in sections. So today we're just going to really tap in about the benefits and why we want to do this. And then the rest of the week, we will actually get into your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities, and threats. And yeah, and just let you set yourself up for success. Okay. So, what is the first benefit of actually creating a personal SWOT analysis? And that's self-awareness, because conducting a SWOT analysis will help you identify your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities, and threats. And this increased self-awareness can help you understand yourself better and make more informed decisions about your personal and professional life. Because as we navigate through this, this is where I learn to set my own personal boundaries with myself and with others. And it also allowed me to do the same thing professionally, especially now because I'm a solopreneur. I don't have that big agency anymore. And when you become a solopreneur, you're responsible for all aspects of your organization. And if I don't set good boundaries for myself, for my business, then I'm going to run myself straight into the grave. And that is so not what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to enjoy life. Okay. Our second benefit is our goal setting. It's like once you've identified what your strengths and opportunities are, then you can use them to set achievable goals that align with your values and your aspirations. And so by identifying what our weaknesses and threats are, we can also develop strategies to overcome them so you can achieve your goals, because everyone wants to achieve their goals and each person's goals are different. They are. And just, not everyone can be a solopreneur. I have lots of people like, yeah, there's no way I can do what you do. And then they may do things that I'm like, I don't know how you do that. And there's nothing wrong with either one. But the goal in this is for you to be able to achieve your goals that make you happy. Because if you're happy and your cup's full, then you get to run over and do all these other things that make you happy, and you get to share that happiness, right? And that success. All right. Number 3 is career development. Okay. A SWOT analysis can help you identify your unique skills, your competencies, and these can be useful when you're seeking career opportunities. And if you're negotiating for a raise, if you're looking for a different position, if you want to work your way up the leadership role. I know several people that are like, you know what, I don't want all that responsibilities that managers and leaders have. I just want to show up, do my job, go home, and leave all that stress there. Others are like, yes, I want to be a leader. I want to be a manager, right? So if you understand what it is that you want, then you can go for it. That's one of the biggest things with the clients that come to me. And I work with a lot of entrepreneurs. I work with a lot of leaders. I work with a lot of C-suite individuals. And I work with a lot of individuals that, that are not in that realm. And they all come with the same thing. They're like, I don't like the direction my life is going in. And so I'm like, okay, well, where are we trying to go? I don't know. And so this is one of the very first things I do with all my clients. Well, in order for us to get into the car and go somewhere and we don't know where we're going, then we're not going to get very far. If I tell my GPS, I don't know where I want to go, get me there, it doesn't know where to take me, and we're just going to sit still. So the SWOT analysis is your blueprint. It's your GPS to get you to what it is that you want to accomplish. Okay. And so by doing this, we are developing a plan, right? For possibly improving your skills and becoming a more valuable employee or leader or a manager or boss or an entrepreneur. Okay. Number 4 is personal growth, right? The SWOT analysis can also help you identify areas of personal growth and development. For example, if you identify a weakness in communication skills, you can take steps to improve your ability to communicate effectively with others. You can do that by taking courses. When I was afraid of speaking, I joined Toastmasters, right? Because they're going to put me in front of people to learn to speak. They're going to put me in front of people to break out of that shell I was in. I was terrified to get in front of people. And so going to Toastmasters allowed me to feel comfortable speaking in front of people. It allowed me to be a teacher where I was able to teach people. And it gave me that confidence. And it helped me learn how to feel confident in my communication skills. Okay. The next one is decision making. By considering our personal strengths and our weaknesses, as well as any opportunities and threats, we can make a more informed decision about our personal and professional life. And this can help you avoid making impulsive or uninformed decisions that may have negative consequences to you. For an example, I keep my goals on a sticky note on my computer screen. Okay. And if I find myself going down a rabbit hole or overthinking, or if I'm getting asked to do certain things that are external for my organization, like, speaking engagements or, workshops or, various other things, the first thing I do is I ask myself, is this aligned with either my personal or my professional goal? And if the answer is no, then I'm not doing it. Remember when I said we set our boundaries? Well, that's one of the ways that I set my boundaries is I look and I see, is this aligned with what my particular goals are? Okay. And that's professionally and personal. For example, right now, for the last year, I have been on my health journey. And this year, I'm taking it up a notch, right? So when people are asking me to do certain things, if I don't feel like it's aligned with my health goal, like eating certain foods, that's not aligned with my health goal. I can't eat that. I can't drink that. That's not in alignment with what I'm trying to achieve. And it makes it very simple for me to make my decisions. I don't have a overthinking or a confusion or anything like that. I have two answers, a yes or a no. And if it's a I don't know, then that's a no until it becomes very clear that it's either a yes or a no, but it's going to stay in the no bucket until it's a definite yes. And that's the same boundaries I use if one of my friends calls me up and say, hey, you want to go do this? It was like, or if I'm doing it based on a insecurity that I may have, or, I don't want to let them down. Well, if I go, right, and because I don't want to let them down, well, guess who's going to get let down in the process? Me. Okay. And I want me to be happy. And if I go somewhere where I really don't want to be, then I'm not going to have fun. And that's not aligned with my goals. My goals is to have fun and to be happy. And if that's not going to make me happy, then it's going to be a no. Okay. All right. Now, when we are developing our SWOT analysis, is we have to look at these 6 areas. These 6 areas is what brings us life fulfillment. So when I do my SWOT analysis, I use this as my blueprint. Like, okay, my physical health. What is my goal? What's my strength? What's my weakness? What opportunities do I have? And what threats do I have? And I list them. Okay. Because I want you to visualize buckets in a 3-tier thing. And if I'm pouring into the top bucket, as that bucket overflows, it's going to flow into the other buckets, and then it's going to flow in all the other buckets, right? But if I'm only filling in, which most of us do quite often, we're filling in number 4 and number 3, and when we're neglecting number 1, number 2, number 5, and number 6. And if we're neglecting those buckets and we're not putting nothing in there, then we're going to have a life that feels unfulfilled. And this is how we fill our life, is by creating goals, okay? And creating what is stopping us and what our threats are. Because when I did this, if I realized that my threat was getting old and not being able to run around with my grandchildren, waking up in a body full of pain, no, because I could eliminate those potential threats. Now, can we eliminate all threats? Unfortunately, no, because life happens. But if I can minimize my threats, then why wouldn't I do everything in my power to do that, right? The second one is our family and relationships. What are our strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats there? Where are we investing in those? And how are we investing in those? What conversations are we having with our family and our relationships? Are we explaining to them what it is that we need? Because what I hear a lot of my clients say is they do things to keep the peace, but all you're doing is lying to them and yourself, because you're making them believe that what they're doing is okay, and it's not. And you're over here growing resentment and regrets and frustration because you're wondering why they keep doing the same thing, because you're making them think that it's okay to do the same thing, and you don't want to create any disruption. But you're creating disruption in you. And then you're the one that is being unhappy. And then when you finally get to the point to where you can't take it anymore and you explode, then that person's going to feel blindsided because you never told them that this wasn't okay. And even when you look at, what does it look like to be loved? Like, do you tell people like how you need to be loved? Do you tell people how you need to feel seen and heard and understood? Are you telling your family and friends what you need from them? Or do you just assume that they know because, everybody knows what love looks like? Do they really? If that was the case, then we would have no hurt people in the world. So that's not the case. So it's learning to identify what it is that you want, right? Your wealth and money satisfaction. What does that look like? What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? What are your opportunities? What are your threats? For me, I never grew up learning about money, and I wasted lots and lots and lots of money, like a whole lot of money. I didn't even want to go there. But then I had to learn, like, okay, you need a budget. You need to get software that is tracking how you're spending money. Look at when your bills are due, how much your bills are. Like, what things, okay, you need to get a financial investor to help you invest money for the future. Like, what are those things look like? Okay, your working career. What do you want in your working career? What are your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities, and threats? Same thing for your spiritual wellness. And if you're not into, religion, then okay, but how are you feeling you spiritually? Okay. What are your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities, and threats? And what is your mental strength? Okay. And when I teach this, I give people the illusion like the top one, your physical health and your mental strength, which is the 2 things that are supporting the other 4 things, those have to be strong, because if you're not physically healthy and you're not mentally strong, then those other 4 are going to suffer. So it's like I sandwich it with the toppest thing. So it's like your ceiling and your foundation. Those 2 need to be stronger to sustain the other 4. So how do you ensure that those things are strong. Because if we got mental strength, we can accomplish anything. If we have physical health, we can accomplish anything. Because if you wake up every day feeling exhausted and your body's hurting, how much can you really contribute to your family, making money, your work? Like, how can you contribute to those things? You're going to contribute, but maybe not. Okay. So that's why I put those first and last, because those are the pillars. That's your foundation. All right. Now, in the way we do this is look at your values. Write down your core values, right? Because your goals need to align with what your core values are. Okay. Because if integrity and loyalty are things that is a core value of yours, and this is where a lot of people realize things about themselves. If you create a core value, you can't just expect others to abide by your core values. You have to abide by those core values. So like a lot of people's like, oh, integrity, honesty. I got to have honesty and integrity, while you're sitting there lying to yourself constantly by pretending like you're okay, doing things that you really don't want to do, people pleasing, keeping the peace. So how do you expect honesty from others when you're not even being honest with yourself? How do you mold that level of integrity? It's near impossible. Okay. And then you wonder why you have trust issues, because you can't trust you, because you're not living within what you deem as a core value. You're violating your own values. And so you automatically assume others are. Okay. Okay. Well, this is the end for today. And I hope this helps. So your assignment for today is to identify your core values. Okay. Figure out what your core values are. And the next lesson, we're going to really hop into what the strengths are and how you determine those strengths. So go ahead, write down your core values, write down, get a piece of paper. Well, actually, I have a booklet that you could use that can actually create this. So if you do want the booklet, then I will put a link in so you can sign up to get that booklet. And then all of these courses will be in the portal. So you can go back and look at it as many times as you would like. And so, yeah, so happy hunting and happy discovery of who you truly want to be. I am excited to complete this so I can hear all of the amazing things each of you are doing. And I will see you on our next lesson. Bye.